Okay, you guys, we have made it to chapter 9 of The Magic Treehouse tonight on the Titanic, written by Mary Pope Osborne. We're nearing the end of this book, so remember that if you want to participate in the trivia question challenges, just log onto your dojo page and send me a message with the correct answer, and I will give you your 5 points. Also, remember that you can rewatch this video if you need to get the answer because you forgot it. So go ahead and do that if you need to. So we're going to start with chapter 9, Time Stops. So at the end of yesterday's chapter, we had a problem. Jack and Annie had reached the place where the magic treehouse was originally at whenever they got on the Titanic. And by the time they made their way back to that location, the magic treehouse was gone. So here we go. Time stops. "Where is it?" shouted Annie. The front of the Titanic sank deeper into the sea. Jack and Annie fell forward. They grabbed the railing and held on for their lives. "Maybe the treehouse fell into the ocean," shouted Jack. A great roar started coming from the ship. Jack imagined everything crashing forward, all the furniture, dishes, bicycles. The grand clock on the staircase. He looked down. A giant wave of water rolled over a lower deck. Jack imagined water flooding the third-class corridor, the card room, and the grand staircase. He closed his eyes, waiting to be washed away. "Arf, arf!" The barking came from a distance. "Teddy!" cried Annie. Jack had forgotten all about the little dog. Holding on to the railing, he used one hand to pull off his knapsack. Teddy wasn't there. There was more frantic barking. "Where's Teddy?" cried Jack. "He's calling us!" shouted Annie. Here are Jack and Annie. Here's the iceberg that was originally hit. Here are Jack and Annie hanging on from the railing. And as you can see, the ship is tilting, already starting to sink. And so they're having trouble holding on. "We can't look for him," shouted Jack. "We'll fall off the ship." Teddy barked and barked. "He's close by," said Annie. She held on to the railing and moved slowly down the steep deck. "Annie!" cried Jack. Suddenly, the lights on the Titanic went out. The world was pitch dark. Jack couldn't see Annie at all. "Annie!" he shouted. He tried to move down the deck too, but the ship tilted again. Jack slipped and fell. He rolled until he crashed into a smokestack. "Jack!" cried Annie. "Here! Here!" Teddy kept barking. The back of the Titanic was rising out of the ocean. The front of the ship was going down. Jack tried to go around the smokestack without falling. In the dark, he could barely see the treehouse. It was stuck between a smokestack and the railing. It was lying on its side. Annie and Teddy were looking out the window. "Teddy's barking led me here," cried Annie. "Hurry, Jack!" Jack crawled around the smokestack. He held out his hand. Annie grabbed it. She pulled him into the treehouse. Teddy licked his face. "I wish we could go home," shouted Annie, pointing at the Pennsylvania book. Jack heard a loud crack. The wind started to blow. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. So that will do it for chapter 9. Tomorrow, I believe, will be chapter 10 and the final chapter of the book. So I hope you stay tuned. Remember to log on to Dojo and send me the message with the correct answer for the trivia question for your 5 points.